Okay, so we are looking at cubic functions. So this first one says cubic parent function f of x equals x cubed. So down here where it says required reference points, so these are points that we know. So I'm going to put them in a table first, and then I'm going to put them as points. So if I have x and y is equal to x cubed. So if I put the number 1 there, and then how much is 1 times 1 times 1?
1.
Still 1. But what if I take a 0 and I put a 0 for x? 0 cubed. 0 times 0 times 0 is 0. And what if I put a negative 1? So negative 1 cubed means negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1. Right? So negative times negative is positive, and positive times negative is going to make negative, right?
Yes.
So these are the 3 main ones, 3 required. And then 2 optional. The extra ones. 2 extra ones just to make your graph look nice. Let's put 2. How much is 2 cubed? 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, right? 2, it's positive 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So then we're going to put one more optional extra. Now we're going to put the negative 2. So if I do negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, negative 2 times negative 2 makes positive 4. Then positive 4 times negative 2 will make negative 8. So now we will put these pairs on our graph. So 1, 1. So we'll go to 1, 1, put a dot. 1, 1, right here. Okay, my next point is 0, 0. 0, 0, right there. We call 0, 0 the origin. 0, 0, origin, right there. 0, 0. Next point, negative 1, negative 1. So we go to negative 1 on the x, negative 1 on the y, right there. Negative 1, negative 1. And if we only have these 3, it looks like a straight line, but it's not a straight line. That's why we need these extra ones. 2, 8. So go to 2, 1, 2, all the way up to 8. You see it's not in a straight line? It's going to be a curve. Then we go to negative 2, negative 8. Negative 2 down to negative 8. And so this graph, she comes like this. Then when it gets to the negative 1, it curves and curves like this. curves. It's not straight, it curves. Alright, so our domain, the domain, is domain for X or Y?
Y. X. Okay.
Domain is for X. When you do your domain, you look from the left over to the right. So you see this arrow? It's going to keep going. It's going to keep going all the way over here to the left. Over here is negative infinity. And then this one is going to keep going over and over and over and over, all the way to the right, positive infinity. So our domain, negative infinity and positive infinity with parentheses. Okay, the range is for the Y values. And for the range, you start on the down, and then you go up. So down here, do you see this arrow? It's going down, 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 all the way down, negative infinity. And this arrow here, up, 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 up to positive infinity. So the domain and the range are both the same, negative infinity to positive infinity. Okay, we're going to leave this one alone for a little while. Let's look down here. Oh, look at this equation. So when you look at this, I want you to see, the main thing to see with your eyes first is, look right there. You see that little 3?
Yes.
That means this is called cubic. It's cubic. And so you know it's going to go like this. All the cubics are going to go like that. Sort of. They're all going to look something like that. That's the parent. That's a little curve like that. Alright, but these different numbers are going to make it move. So we talked about this one last time. If I add a number at the end, if I do plus k, what is that going to make the graph do? Okay, we're going to call this vertical shift. Vertical shift. So if you have plus k, you're going to go up. If you have minus k, you're going to go down. Now, if you have a number here, inside the parentheses with the x, that's going to make you go side to side. We name that horizontal shift. Now, this one gets tricky. If it says x minus h, that means the number h is positive. And you're going to shift to the right. So even though you have a subtraction, right? And you might think subtract means go left, but it's x minus h. So the number h itself is a positive number, and you'll go to the right. But if it says x plus h, then what that really is it's x minus negative h. Minus a negative is a positive. So this means h is negative, and you will shift to the left. So even though you see a plus sign, you're going to go to the left. It's going to seem backwards, but it's because this is a minus in the equation.
So, like, whenever we see minus, it plus, and plus it minus.
Yes. Well, when you see minus, it's not so much it's plus, but the h is positive. And the positive tells you to go to the right. And when you see the plus, the h is negative, and that tells you to go left. All right. And then we have this letter A here. Letter A can make you do a vertical stretch, so if A is bigger than 1, so if that number A is 2, 3, 4, you're going to stretch. Or it can do a vertical compress. If A is a fraction, if A is in between, if the letter A, the number that A is between 0 and 1, like a half or a fourth or a third, it's going to do a compression. Compress. Compress, so press. When you press on something, think like this, press. Stretch, press. But if A is less than 0, so if A is a negative number, less than 0, then you're going to do a vertical reflection. Your reflection is when you look in the mirror and you see your face, that's a reflection. It flips. Flip. Flip. All right. Turn your paper on the back. All right. Let's draw a graph paper like this. Make 1, 2, and go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. -1, -2, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8. Okay, so we're going to graph our parent function. y equals x cubed. Same as we did on the other side. It's going to go through 0, 0. It's going to go through 1, 1. It's going to go through 2, 8. It's going to go through negative 1, negative 1. It's going to go through negative 2, negative 8. And then we're going to come make it go and curve like a S. All right, now you want to get a different color pencil. Where are my colored pencils? Get some different colored pencils. Pass those pencils around. Okay, take the color, pass it around. Alright, so in a different color, if I have y equals x cubed plus 2. Okay, what is this plus 2 going to do?
Everything is going to make up 2.
This is going to be called vertical shift up 2. So I'm going to go to every one of my points on my graph, and I'm going to go up 1, 2. And I go to this point, and I go up 1, 2. And then I go to this point, and I go up 1, 2. And I go to this point and I go up 1, 2. And then I go to this point and I go up 1, 2. And there is my graph. Everything shifted vertical up 2. All right, now I'm going to get a different color. Trade pencils with somebody. Get a different color. I'm going to say y equals parentheses x minus 4 cubed. Okay, so when you see this, when it says x minus 4 in the parentheses, what is the graph going to do? Look back over here. Alright, I see some of you going, it's going to go sideways. Is it going to go right or left if it says x minus 4?
left.
If it says x minus 4, the 4 is positive. The minus is part of the equation. So it's going to go to the right. So we have x minus 4, we're going to go to the right 4. Now, the thing that's going to go to the right is back the parent function. The first one I made with my black pen. Not the red one. Don't worry about the red. You're going to go back to your parent function. And every dot goes to the right 4. So I start right here. I go over. 1, 2, 3, 4. I took this dot. Nevi, you watching? Shao, you watching? This dot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I take this dot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I go to this dot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to go to this dot. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to go to this dot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Going to make this curvy S shape like this. It was like we took this black one and we just said, slide over. Slide, shift, translate to the right 4. Alright, now get another color. So now my equation says y equals 2x cubed. This 2 is multiplying, right? Multiplication, times. So every dot on here, this is going to do a stretch. And so every dot we are going to need to multiply by 2. So this one gets tricky. So here is my point. This is my point, 0, 0. My output is 0. But how much is 0 times 2?
0.
0 times 2 is still 0. So this dot stays right there. Because 0 times 2 is still 0. Okay, this dot is 1, 1. How much is 1 times 2? 2. So instead of being at 1, 1, this is going to go up to 1, 2. Now watch this. This one is at 2, 8. How much is 8 times 2? 16. This dot is way up here off my paper. Way, way up here. Can't even fit. Okay, this one is at negative 1. How much is 2 times negative 1?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. So this dot goes down here. This is negative 2, negative 8. So this one would go all the way down here to negative 16. So this goes like this, way off my paper, I can't even see it. And then it comes like this. So it got stretched. It's like you pulled it like this, stretched it. All right, we're going to do one more on here. Trade with somebody else, get a new color. Y equals negative x cubed. Okay, this negative right here, you look back on the notes, when A is negative, it's called reflection. It's going to flip. So watch what's going to happen point by point. This negative x, what we're really doing here is we are multiplying by negative 1. And it's going to do a reflect. Alright, so what is 0 times negative 1?
0.
Still 0. This is the point 1, 1. What is 1 times negative 1? Negative 1. So now instead of this black dot being up here, it's going to be on the negative. If I put in a 1, instead of getting out a positive 1, now I'm going to get out a negative 1. This is the point 2, 8. So I'm going to take my answer 8, and I'm going to do 8 times negative 1. It's going to go down all the way to negative 8. So instead of being up here, it is going to flip down here. Okay, now this point, back on my black, on my parent function, it was 1, negative 1. But I'm going to flip from the negative times a negative, it's going to go up to positive 1. And this negative 8 is going to flip up to positive 8. So if you see this black parent function, and you think like this is the mirror, and it flipped over. Flip, flip. And then this black part here flipped up. So this side used to be negative, flipped, it's positive. This side used to be positive, flip, now it's negative. Okay? Yes?